What's up, world? Right now is the time where I give you the weekly update for everything that's been happening. First, we'll start with everything that's been happening over the previous weekend, and then we're going to cover everything that's happening over this coming weekend. If you don't know what Anonymous for the Voiceless does, check us out on Facebook or go to cubeoftruth.com. We do street activism demonstrations specifically in a very structured and well-researched manner. Lots of information online and videos that you can watch if you're not up to date with it. I'm also going to mention the chapters that we've currently opened over the past week. I don't usually mention this in the update videos, but I'm going to start doing that. This week we opened 7 new chapters and we had 7 demonstrations over the past weekend. One was in Austin, USA.
Portland, USA.
One in Rochester, USA.
Sydney, Australia.
One in Melbourne, Australia.
Chiang Mai, Thailand.
And the last one was in Surfers Paradise / Gold Coast, Australia. Austin, USA actually got a new record for their demos. They got 21 in one demo, so that's good. Don't get too caught up on figures. We don't do this so that we can boast or brag about numbers. We do this because we want to be objective so we can measure our results and so we can improve on our results. Being objective is very important, but even if you show up at our demonstrations and you get a 0, the experience that you take away from that, engaging with people and learning how to discuss veganism, is what is important at the end of the day. What's important is that you get out there and you actually speak up for animals. And we measure our results for the simple fact that it boosts the morale of our volunteers, but it also is a way of us being analytical so that we can objectively observe how we're progressing and how we can improve on our effectiveness. So now I'm going to cover the 7 new chapters that we opened over the past week. We opened 4 new chapters in the US of A. We opened 1 in Orlando. We opened 1 in Minneapolis, 1 in St. Paul, so that's the Twin Cities, and then also 1 in Seattle. We opened a new chapter in Sweden. We're now in Stockholm, and we opened another chapter in Australia, in Perth, and then we also opened up a chapter in Bologna, in Italy, the home of Bolognese. Now for this week, we've got the following events taking place. So the first event that's happening this weekend is in Surfers Paradise / Gold Coast, Australia. That's happening at 5 p.m. on Friday, and that's happening at the Surfers Paradise night markets. Then the next event that's happening in Australia is in Melbourne. That's happening on Saturday from 2:30 p.m. It's happening at Bourke Street Mall, but there's likely to be a memorial that's taking place due to the unfortunate events of the psycho who drove his car through Melbourne and killed pedestrians. So there might be a memorial that's taking place on Bourke Street Mall, and because of that we may have to relocate to State Library, but we'll let everybody know in the next 24 hours on the event page for Melbourne and also in the volunteer group. The next event that's happening is in South Africa, Johannesburg to be exact. It's happening at Neighbour Goods Market from 10 a.m. on Saturday. And then the next one is happening in Sofia in Bulgaria. If you're in Sofia, that's happening at Vitosha Boulevard, and that's happening from 2 p.m. on Saturday. And the next event that's happening on Saturday is from 1 p.m. in Bristol, the United Kingdom, and that's going to happen at Broadmead Shopping Centre from 1 p.m. So the next event to mention is happening from 10 a.m. on Saturday at the Rochester Public Market from 10 a.m. on Saturday if you're in Rochester, New York, USA. And the next event is happening in Innsbruck in Austria. If you're in Innsbruck, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the location, so just click on the event again and go and have a look at the location for yourself. It starts from 8:30 p.m, so it's a night event. The next event is happening in Portland, USA, and that's happening at Pioneer Courthouse Square, which is the regular location every week, and that's happening from 12:30 p.m. And the next event to mention is happening in New York City, and that's happening at Union Square Metro Station from 4:30 p.m. And the last one to mention is happening in Bologna in Italy, and that's happening at the Via Indipendenza. But again, just check these locations in the event, and that's a Sunday event that's happening at 2 p.m. So that's your weekly wrap up for everything that's been happening with Anonymous for the Voiceless. If you want to get out there and do some effective street activism and you want some tricks and tips from us, we'll send you a manual which gives you everything that we know. You can just take our advice in the manual and do your own demos. Or if you'd like to become a chapter of Anonymous for the Voiceless, you can also register your interest by contacting either myself or Asal on Facebook, or you can email us at team@anonymousforthevoiceless.org or through our website cubeoftruth.com. Much power, peace and love.